Alrighty, welcome ladies and gentlemen here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Lightning eSports Arca Series, second race of the season getting set underway. Let's go ahead and go down our starting lineup.
So, on pole we have Johnny Sonis. Starting second place we have Drew Smith. Starting in the third position we have Drew Hawk. Starting fourth position we have Oren Russell. Starting in the fifth position we have Brandon Kuzakison. Sorry if I get some of these names wrong, I'm new to this league. Starting in P6 we have Bud Shear. Starting P7 we have Robert Kahn. Starting in the 8th position, we have Cress Ellis. Starting P9, we have Michael Ware. And rounding out our top 10, we have Jeffrey Ledford. Starting in P11, we have Dennis Warnes. Starting 12th, we have Mike Rideout. Starting P13, we have Christian Shriver. Starting 14th, we have Rusty Jordan. Starting P15, we have Jason Henry. And starting 16th, we have Barry Nelson. 17th place, we have Hayden Kuziakson. P18, we have Chinatale Potel. Starting P19, we have Michael Chanel. Starting 20th, we have Robert Morris. Starting at 21st, we have Charles Whitehead. Starting 22nd, we have Sean Burt. Starting P23, we have Kevin Baker. P24, we have Dylan Lewis. P25, Sebastian Chanel. P26, we have Blake Davis. And rounding out our 27 car field, we have Joseph Heckman.
And that is your starting lineup at Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. Pace cars getting ready to pull off. Field getting ready to go green for 80 laps here at Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway into the restart zone. Green flag, and we're off and away at Atlanta Motor Speedway. A little bit of early contact here with, I think that's the 5 of Brandon Cookhausen. Went below the apron, able to hang on to it, but he's going to get shuffled back a few spots as we complete lap 1.
Right now, our top 3 are Johnny Sonis, Drew Hope, Drew Smith, top 3. Starting to get it spread out just a little bit throughout the top 5, top 10.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that we're going to be watching for with tonight's race. Drivers spreading out. This is a very difficult racetrack. We're going to see a lot of drivers start to struggle, especially on these longer runs where this car and this track definitely will start to wear loose. It's definitely very much a driver's track, and Bryce, from your standpoint, what exactly is your mentality on the shorter run in trying to maybe get yourself into the groove and not push yourself too early on?
I mean, even with these heavy downforce cars, it's old Atlanta. The tire wear is going to be huge here tonight. So the biggest thing is you want to keep that track position. Dirty air is going to be big, though, and make the tire wear worse. But you also have to preserve, especially that right front tire. I did some laps earlier today, and it really seems like the right front was getting chewed up here. So you want to protect that right front. But if you protect the right front too much, then you'll get that right rear, and that's where you'll get that loose condition. I think drivers will be fighting this all night between tight and loose.
Right now, the driver looking good from out front is Johnny Sanis. Sorry, I'm going to try and get these last names correct at some point. He's leading the way over the rest of the field, looking pretty good out there, not really having too much pressure from behind. Again, still early in this lap. or early in this race, coming to the completion of lap 5 on to lap 6. So some pretty early action here for some of these drivers. A lot of them settling in for the time being. Like we talked about, it's going to definitely be a driver's type of racetrack tonight. Pretty big field, 27 cars taking the green flag.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be interesting too. I know the high line, you want to keep up the momentum, especially with the Arca car. Those cars love the momentum. But the high side can really chew up your tires early, and Johnny Sainz is really running that top side really well. But I wonder how much it'll hurt him on the long run here.
Yeah, you see it, Budge here behind him running a little bit lower, kind of in that middle lane, not really pushing the limit so hard. And as I say that, he actually goes up top a little bit right there in turns 3 and 4, but about a half a car to a car beneath Johnny right now for the time being, and it looks like it's kind of worked for him these last few laps, able to close back up on that back bumper. We'll see if maybe he's saved a little bit more tire and can possibly make a run on this bottom side. These cars, though, with their low horsepower, it's definitely a little bit harder to make passes and maybe some of the other cars. Bud takes a look to the inside, and I think Johnny hit that wall just a bit, and he's going to lose the race lead right there coming off turn number 4.
Yeah, that's just the one bad thing about running the top side. You have no room for error there, and he was just pushing it there, trying to get everything he could out of it. And just, you scrape the wall just a little bit, and you lose so much momentum here.
Yeah, momentum is going to be the name of the game tonight. You saw it with Budge here right there, able to get a decent run and then force that 29 into a mistake. Johnny now falling back to this 6th position.
Yeah, right here. This is a key point in the race for Johnny here. You had the pole, you started up front, you led laps. Now you're in dirty air. The further back you get, the more difficult the car is going to handle. So he just needs to regroup here, get some laps clicked off, and start clicking more positions off one at a time.
And right now he's being put 3 wide on the top side. I think that's the 4 and the 55. Excuse me, I think that's the 1. Yeah, it's the 1 car right there. So it's a little bit of a scary and chaotic moment right there coming up with 4 for him. Now that they settled down, it looks like the 29 is going to actually be able to gain a few spots out of that and settle back into running the high groove. But that'll be something that we'll have to watch. He's led the first handful of laps, got that wall, and we'll have to see if he can work his way back up and get that lead away. Right now, though, as we go back to 8th position, we got a battle between Robert Kahn and Chris Ellis. Oh, and I think Chris got a little tight right there, and that's going to open up the door for Robert Kahn to sneak on by. And again, looking at these two drivers, a little bit different grooves. The 30 running a little bit higher, had to lift, lost a little bit of momentum. Robert Kahn running a little bit lower, maybe not using those tires as much like we just talked about.
Yeah, right now we're already seeing over half a second of fall off. So you're definitely seeing these drivers. Some are getting really tight, and we're actually really seeing a few drivers get really loose, especially off turn 4 right now. So this is an interesting point. I know the fuel window was about 23 to 25 laps here with the 50% fuel load tonight. So right now we're in the middle of that run, and this is where drivers that save their tires are going to start panning off. They're going to start moving through the field here, and we're going to see some comers and goers here.
Here's Alex.
We got to spin off turn 2.
Oh, that's a 30. Who is that? I can't tell. I think that's a 93. Yes, it is. That's Bud Shear. That was our race leader. So issues again for the race leader. This time it's Bud. Now that's going to put Jeffrey Letford into the race lead, but Johnny working his way up, back up through the field. once again looking, oh, and a little bit of contact from behind the 9 car of Drew Smith. Hard contact into that inside wall.
Yeah, right now we got a battle into turn 1 and 2 for the lead. Jeffrey Ledford and Johnny Sonis. So just like I said earlier, he just needed to regroup. Now he's back in attacking for the lead running the bottom side. So impressive recovery after getting the wall. I think back-to-back turns there earlier. So I'm really impressed with the speed he has for running the top side and then getting in the wall and being in dirty air. He's really come back strong here as they are side by side for the lead, coming to complete lap 16.
And oh, Johnny gets hit from the 55, hard contact into turn 1. A vicious hit for Johnny. Oh, not sure if he's gonna get hit again.
Oscar, I think I just did my first commentator's jinx right there.
I think that is definitely some ill-timing calling right there. Unfortunate right there for our race, or what probably could have been our race leader. Heavy damage. He's going to work his way around, but missing that front end, and looks like there is some major damage on that right front for the time being. Go ahead and take a look at this replay real quick. All right, so going into turns, or coming off of turn 4, I mean, it looked like the 29 may have lost a little bit of ground on that bottom lane, because he definitely did lose some time to the 14. I think the 55 just maybe misjudged the turn and hit that outside wall and bounced down into the 29 in a hard lick into turns 1 and 2 for both those drivers. The 14 getting collected in that as well.
Yeah, that's just so unfortunate. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into that quad oval wall, even at like tracks like Charlotte. So that's very unfortunate. It looked like it took out 3 or 4 cars there, but they do get 1 fast repair, I believe, here. So they can get that fast repair and then get back out here.
Yeah, and you talk about fast repairs, definitely don't want to have to use that. We'll take another look right there. Yeah, just unfortunate circumstances going into turn number 1. Not really anything the 29 could have done, but like you said, they have 1 fast repair, so I'm assuming both those drivers will more than likely take it here. The only issue is now you don't have a fast repair to go off of, and it's still a long race. Plenty of laps to go in this race, and mistakes can happen. And if you're the 29 or the 55, at this point you're going to want to be as careful as you possibly can, knowing that you just used that fast repair and that anything from this point forward will have to be fixed on pit road, which at a track like this you don't really get a lot of time to come down pit road and fix damage. And it definitely does hurt aero-wise.
Yeah, and that's just the thing you gotta look out for. With the Arca car, obviously it's low horsepower. Even though it's Atlanta, a lot of tire fall off, you are still grouped up kind of like a packed race, especially the first 10 or 15 laps. So yeah, he just has to be a little bit more extra careful, has to pick his moves more carefully.
Alright, so some early incidents here early on, getting ready to get the field stacked up once again and get them going under green flag racing. Right now as a driver though, you're probably, you've made your pit stop, your first pit stop of the day. You probably talked to your crew chief or spotter trying to get some information from above, seeing what maybe other cars and other drivers are doing or handling, which can be super useful, especially at a track like this. You saw a lot of different lanes, the high side, the bottom side worked for some drivers not so much, and getting that information from above can definitely be a big game changer. And if you're not used to trying a specific lane, right now is a good opportunity. You'll definitely have to pit at least once to two more times, and if we do get another quick caution, or if we do go about 15-ish laps and happen to get another caution, it's pretty good information to be able to try things out early on versus later in the race. I know from both of our experiences, I'm not quite sure how often you would try things in the race, but from my perspective, I always found it to be helpful to try things early in the race and kind of have that information towards the end of the race, and maybe try and make it more useful going for a win or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The first half of the race is always just about experimenting what works, what doesn't work, because if you experiment at the end of the race, you're more than likely not going to win the race or get a good position out of it, because they're more likely fail than succeed when you're experimenting. So it's also interesting you bring up like strategies and whatnot. I believe they only get 2 sets of tires for the entire race. We might be down to 1 set of tires with still 60 to go here.
It'll be an interesting end with under 60 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Side by side into turns 1 and 2. Robert Kahn, Mike Rideout leading the way. Robert
side
Kahn,
by side off turn 2. Oh, go ahead.
Robert Kahn with a big advantage off of turn 2 right there.
Robert Kahn leads us back here to next lap by. P2 is Charles Whitehead. P3 Dennis Warness as side by side for the race lead here.
Robert Kahn looking strong, able to hold off Charles Whitehead for the time being, going into turns 3 and 4. 14 with a little bit of a bobble. That was Christian Schreiber, able to hang on to it, but now he's going to get challenged from the 76 of Mike Rideout on that inside lane.
Right there, we just saw 3 wide for second place. They sorted it out back to 2 by 2 here. Second place is clear as they're side by side for third now. And caution is out.
Caution out at lap 24. I don't quite see who it's for.
Bud Shear is around on the backstretch right now.
Bud Shear, Dylan Lewis in the 88 as well.
That's unfortunate. We've seen Bud Shear up there battling for the lead, and you just get put back there. And the racing is just so much more intense in the back as drivers are trying to claw their way up to the front. And incidents like this are just going to happen back there.
And unfortunately, it looks like he did get a little bit of damage. Doesn't look like it's too major. However, like you said, when you have to start in the back of the pack and trying to work your way up through the field, it's always such a challenge to try and make your way through the field. You know, guys are going to be maybe a little bit slower or have maybe different strategies back there, and trying to work your way on the field. I mean, we see stuff like this happen with what we just witnessed from Bud Shear. Looks like he has some left rear damage, which definitely is not good for this type of race car. But again, it's still early in this race. He still can come down pit road, get that damage fixed, and it might not be a race winning car. However, that doesn't really matter. It all really comes down to the driver and what the driver is capable of doing. And we saw Bud race for the race lead there in those first 15 laps, and I have no doubt that he'll be able to try and make a late race charge again from the back. We'll have to see if maybe he can get a little bit more luck on his side, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's used his fast repair or not, but the damage doesn't look too bad. I actually think he can get this fully repaired, especially with another caution coming out. I definitely wouldn't write him off yet. He had a lot of speed early in the race. I have no doubt he can get back through the field. He's just going to have to manage his tires. I know I said there was only one set left and he just spun, so I probably wouldn't take that last set just yet, so he's probably going to be on a little bit older tires as well, which is never good at Old Atlanta. So we'll just have to see. He's got some things that have to go his way, but I think he can get back up there.
All right, and let's take a look and see what happened at this incident. Let's see, it looks like, oh boy, it looks like the 88 had a little bit of a bobble. Oh, it looks like two separate incidents, actually. It looks like the 93 of Bud Shear possibly may have gotten loose. Oh yeah, it looks like Bud Shear just got a little bit loose, then got a little bit of a nudge from behind. I can't tell who that is. I think that's the 87? 87. Yeah, it's the 87 car that gave him a little bit of a nudge and sent him around, and then collected the 88, who had really nowhere to go right there. Unfortunately for Dylan Lewis right there. Just wrong place, wrong time.
His car is coming. Go ahead.
Yeah, once again, I was just going to say, his car is getting ready to get us going. At the top, Dennis Warrens, Charles Whitehead. They'll be our two drivers on this front row. Christian Schreiber, Barry Nelson, right directly behind him. Pace car going to take the hard left turn. Getting set to go racing once again from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag in the air.
Side by side for the lead coming off turn 2. They are 2 by 2 down the backstretch. Charles Whitehead just clears it just a little bit. They're back side by side, but he drives it in deep into 3 and 4. Still side by side coming to the line here. Charles Whitehead, Dennis Warren is battling for the lead here. Warren will lead this lap this time by.
Warren's fighting strong on the outside, able to hold off Whitehead. Oh, and around they go.
Spinning.
Still under green flag condition, but Dennis Warrens, Charles Whitehead, a mistake off of turn number 2. That's going to cost both those drivers. And now we get the caution.
Yeah, Dennis Warren has just got loose off turn 2 and kind of did a half spin, couldn't collect it with the 51 right below him. Or my bad, the number 90 below him. That was very unfortunate to see.
Yeah, heavy contact to the 90 of Dennis Warrens. That front end definitely will need to get some repairs on pit road. Looks like Charles Whitehead might have less damage. There is some heavy rear end damage that may be causing a piece of that rear end to be somewhere on the racetrack, so I think that's probably why the caution was thrown. I believe it's setting off turn 2, but both these drivers battling hard for the race lead, and we kind of talked about it. The conditions of this racetrack make it very hard at certain times, and on restarts where you have a little bit of heat on those tires, definitely plays a big factor into how these drivers make it through the first lap. I'm sure you can talk a little bit more about that since you've had a little bit more racing experience recently than I have. But I mean, from a driver's perspective, you really gotta take it easy on the first lap when you have a heat cycle on.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Not only with the heat cycle, it acts as if you have cold tires as well. And if you have cold tires, you know how that goes. It's super loose, no grip. It almost feels like you have no downforce in the car. So that for the first lap, funny enough, with having the fresh tires, you think it would be super gripped up, but it's actually not. It'll be some of the most ill-handling conditions you'll deal with all night.
All right, let's go. I mean, we were watching it live, but we'll take a look at it once again. So hard battling for the race lead and a little bobble by the 51 up top. Unfortunately, nowhere for the 90 of Dennis Warrens to go, and both went spinning into the inside wall. And the 90 again getting the more significant contact of those two. Right on board with the 90 of Dennis Warrens right here. And Dennis just had no idea that was gonna happen, and really nowhere to go, no reaction time to have, and unfortunate for him to have happen early in this race. Now, we're kind of at a decent spot in this race, lap 33 out of 80. Probably didn't take tires right there, I'd assume probably not. You'll have another chance here at a restart. Possibly could see some tire spin that we'll have to watch out for. However, it seems like so far, if you're in the race lead, there's some sort of bad luck, and whenever you get that race lead, you end up losing all that position and getting in some sort of incident, unfortunately for the race leader. So if you're Michael Ware, probably want to be a little bit more heads up on this restart.
Yeah, everyone's just pushing their absolute hardest out here, and that can lead to mistakes, you know. Clean air just means that much, and, you know, the ultimate prize, winning you're in for the playoffs. These drivers are all fighting for that golden ticket, so if you can get the lead even this early in the race, it's just that big, especially with clean air. Once you get old tires and all that, clean air is even more valuable.
Well, clean air being valuable, let's see who gets it. We're off and away once again from Atlanta. Six car with a great restart, hitting into turns 1 and 2. He'll have at least a 2-car advantage over the field.
That was definitely the best restart so far by the leader. He could have done a better job there.
Now the battle is on for second, third, and fourth. Side by side for third place, Sebastian Chanel, Christian Schreiber going at it.
Oh, that was a really close call. They got split 3 wide middle off turn 2 there, got loose. I don't know who that was, but impressive save there.
Hard battling early on. A lot of scary moments for these drivers. However, they're doing an amazing job at putting on a great show so far. Oh, bobble right there for Barry Nelson going into turn 1. Almost had what could have probably been a bigger pile up right there. Able to hang on to it though, and he's going to live to fight another day.
Yeah, Michael Ware has to be loving what he's seeing right now. They are battling hard for third, fourth, fifth. He has no pressure from behind right now. Second place doesn't either. So Michael Chanel and Michael Ware just putting on a good show here, pulling away from the pack here. If this goes green, they're in a really, really good place here.
And as you're right on board with Kevin Baker, you just see that jumble of a mess behind. Cars looking high, cars looking low. Everybody trying to fight for track position here, trying to get the same real estate.
Right now, the battle for third is still heating up there, nose to tail. From third on back, basically, is one big pack. They're putting on a really good show. I'm surprised. Oh, we got a spin on the front stretch.
I think that's Barry Nelson. Hard hit into that pit lane wall. That race car is destroyed on that front end. A vicious hit.
Yeah, I think you need to stop talking
on the
here.
Backstretch. It's Christian Schreiber around. That's a 2-car of Hayden Cookhausen.
Yeah, I was just saying how good they were doing there. I was surprised they hadn't wrecked before that. They are 3, sometimes 4 wide, just sliding around this racetrack right now. You can definitely tell the intensity's picking up as we near the halfway point of this race.
And this one, unfortunately, is going to take out a lot of race cars with that. I see it at least 4 to 5 cars with heavy damage to their front ends. The 9 of Drew Smith, I think the 5 of Brandon Cookhausen is probably the worst of the group. Barely able to get this thing turning around the racetrack. And I say that and then I go look at Robert Morrison. His car is absolutely what we would call turtling down this back straightaway.
Yeah, I hope he has a fast repair, because if not, that thing is definitely a junk. His race is going to be done here. I mean, I'm impressed that he's able to get that thing around the racetrack. I don't think I'd actually be able to. I'd be towing at this point.
Yeah, that was a heck of a job to wheel that thing around the track for a lap and get it down on the pit road. We'll go ahead and take a look at this incident. Take a look at the most recent incident, then we'll go ahead and see what happened with Barry Nelson. So hard racing off the turn. Oh, it looks like it started further ahead. I'm not quite sure who exactly that. We'll have to run through this. Oh, it's the 14 car. So Christian Schreiber. I think it looks like a big slide, able to keep it, hit that turn 2 wall, and honestly came to a pretty quick and fast stop after making that contact. And the 30 had nowhere to go, the 21, the 2, and then they just piled up from further behind. So take a look at this again, and we'll let's ride on board with Chanel. Alright, so this is her view. Oh, got clipped by the 30 when trying to get through that. Not really any significant contact, but just trying to... Wow, a close call right there. Able to get on the brakes at the last second to avoid the 7 car. But carnage going on everywhere around her, in front, to the inside, to the outside. Did a great job at keeping that car in one piece with that little damage on the right rear. And then going back and taking a look at Barry Nelson's incident, started off of turn 4, trying to work his way around the 91. Yeah, again, just another one of those things where a driver just gets a hair loose and ends up with them not having enough space to save the race car and actually clip the back end of the 91 car, I believe it was, that he got into, and got sent around from that contact, and then spinning into the inside wall was just insult to injury. So 2 separate incidents on the same lap, multiple drivers getting involved, multiple drivers now having to use their fast repair.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers that have already used their fast repair, and we're a little past halfway. There's a lot of racing still to go, and the intensity is only going to ramp up. I don't think we've even seen anything close to what we're going to see here in a few laps here.
Yeah, I think we were going to get the green flag right there, but they did add another lap, so we'll pace around one more time here. Let's go ahead and take a look. You know, this is a good time to take a look at our weather currently, with a temperature of 75 degrees out, so kind of in a, I'd say, a mild range. Not too hot, not too cold. But you look at that track temp and you see 101 degrees. That's kind of adds up with what we've seen so far today, with all the slipping and sliding. That track being super hot is definitely not helping these drivers out right now. And I think we'll probably, like you said, I think the intensity is going to ramp up here, and we'll probably see more drivers have issues, especially coming off these corners in this race. Again, just passing halfway, so still a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, I think we're going to be taking the green this time by the lights on the pace car are out. Michael Chanel is leading this race right now as he has chosen the bottom line. I'm interested to see what the strategy looks like here. We have about 35, 36 laps to go here, and you get 25 laps on a tank, so this is still, strategy's open, wide open.
Strategy's still wide open. Green flag back in the air. We'll see what these guys decide to do. See if maybe somebody tries to run a little bit harder and play some strategy into coming down pit road earlier than the rest of the field. Up front though, Jeffrey Ledford looking strong on the bottom side, trying to get the race lead away. Oh, he's going to move the 97 up just a bit.
Guess who's in P2 already? We were just talking about him a little bit ago. Bud Shear is back to second position, right along with another driver that's just had bad luck tonight, Johnny Sane. So, impressive recovery from these guys. I mean, I just seen Bud Shear spinning 10, 15 laps ago. So, just an amazing drive for these couple drivers here. And they have one more position to get. They got to get Jeffrey Ledford, and they'll be back side by side like they were at the very beginning of this race.
Well, if you're a Bud Shear fan, you're on your feet and you're making as much noise as you can. Because here he comes, hard charging 93, putting as much distance, or trying to shorten the distance as much as he can between him and the race leader. Running a little bit lower, trying to get that clean air on that front nose. See what this Burger King 93 car can do.
Yeah, I really like what Bud Shear. Go ahead.
Sorry, a little bit further back, we got some carnage going on here for 6th place.
Yeah, right now we have a side-by-side battle for 8th and 9th with Michael Ware and Michael Chanel. Really good battle here, side by side through the quad oval. Single file right now throughout the first 5, 6, 7 cars, so we're starting to get a little bit spread out here. Still big battles throughout the middle of the field. Those will take longer to get separated with the dirty air and the draft that these cars produce. But right now the front runner's doing an amazing job. Right now they just need to focus on saving those tires, getting into that long run mindset. These races always have a lot of cautions early and then it'll end on a long green flag run. I think these drivers are expecting this now.
And the long green flag run is, I think, what some of these drivers are wanting to have happen, be able to showcase what they can do and what they can save for the longer runs. Now other drivers who maybe struggle a little bit are hoping for short runs, and I'd say neither way is a bad way. I mean, if you're able to find speed in the short run and keep it and not allow guys later on in the run to make it up, then you're definitely deserving of that short run speed. And if you're a long run guy who is able to find that long run and work your way up through a little bit of contact in the back, the one into that outside wall into turns 3. I think we're gonna keep going.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure who else was involved right there, but it looks like we're still under green flag conditions.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to keep it green. That helped spread out the field just a little bit now, as still a big battle here for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th all the way back. Still 2 by 2 by 2 actually, so maybe didn't spread the field as much as I thought it would, but I think if we can just get 5, 10 more laps here, it's going to be spread out a little bit more. And I'm also interested, you were talking about short run speed, and we're wrecking in 3 or 4, big wreck.
Massive wreck. Multiple cars involved. I think a car might have been on its lid or nose right there. Barry Nelson, I think, is the car that I saw have that crazy ride. Lots of cars involved in this one, though. And as we were just kind of talking about short run versus long run, this is a good point in this race to maybe come down and take a set of tires. Maybe not so much. I mean, it's kind of a driver's call. Looks like our current race leader, Jeffrey Ledford, is going to come down pit road, followed by Bud Shearer. So, an interesting spot in this race to make a strategy call, possibly. You don't know really how much longer in this race is actually going to go green, and if we do get a late race caution and you decide not to take a second set of tires if you haven't taken one already, then you could be sitting in some prime position, but you would also need the caution to be timed pretty perfectly for that to happen for you as a driver. And going back to take a look at this replay, I'm honestly not quite sure who exactly started it. I mean, I know we were racing hard again, like for this 4th, 5th, 6th position, 3 wide here. Looks like that 94 just kind of got pinball between the 91 and the 97 a bit. What do you say, Bryce? I mean, I don't really put any blame on anyone there. 3 drivers going for position and just kind of ran out of room right there.
Yeah, it almost looks like the 94 was trying to give more room to the outside car, maybe misjudged it just a tiny split hair, and it caused him to go down further than maybe he wanted to, so he didn't hook the guy on the outside. But man, that was the big one if I've ever seen one at Atlanta before.
Running on board with the 94, going for this wild ride. Able to lock it down and avoid being hit again. But that was, like you said, that was the big one. Taking out multiple drivers. I see at least 6 cars with damage from that, possibly more.
Yeah, I'm very interested. A lot of people don't have fast repairs anymore for sure, and I noticed, I think it was 5 or 6 drivers stayed out here, so the strategies has been made. Some guys are banking on a late race caution. I think they need it to go green though here. They need 10, 15 green flag laps and then a caution with like 5, 6, 7 laps to go to make that call work, but I'm very interested. We might even see drivers driving more easily now because they don't have that fast repair anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, we said it you want to save your fast as long as you can. You want to avoid using it early in this race, especially like we just saw, a kind of a later into the race type incident that collects multiple drivers. You want to be able to have that fast repair in case something like that does happen, and I think it would be a safe time to use it if you really needed to. Although with these top 5 drivers staying out on a little bit older tires, you'll definitely have to watch out and be careful and mindful that there could be some potential tire spin here. And again, you don't want to assume for the worst, but you also don't want to jump the gun and put anybody in any position that they're not ready for on this restart.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing they have to look out for is the wheel spin, and then like I was talking about earlier with the Arca car, it's a momentum based. These drivers are not going to have momentum even if they run the top, so these guys that have fresh tires, we have to be a little bit patient, a little bit careful for these guys that can't carry that center speed to center off speed.
We'll see what happens going to turn 1 and 2. Green flag back in the air. We're off and away. A little bit of tire spin for guys in the back. Up front though, they look to be getting underway. And Chanel Patel, has the race lead. Battling hard for second off of turn 2. That's Jason Henry and Jeffrey Ledford. Again, in this about fifth to sixth position, we see a lot of these drivers kind of come together, and we see this being the most intense battle on track for the time being.
I'm really impressed with the field there. Chris Ellis got stuck in the wall coming off turn 2 with his old tires, and they all got around him plainly. I thought that was about to be a wreck off turn 2, so big save for all these guys. And with the mixed tires and no fast repairs available for most of these guys, you can really see the field is pretty fast here.
And we got a battle here for the race lead at the bottom of your screen, and then at the top of your screen we got a battle here for about 6th to 8th position. Both these drivers going hard for their respective positions. Back up front though, Jeffrey Ledford is going to lead the way. We're at Just under 20 laps to go, 19 laps at the line. We're gonna go ahead and jump to a quick commercial break. You guys will not miss a thing. We'll be side by side and we'll be right back.
Beginnings to raising the future, achieving success along the way. We'll never back down because we are here to race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Racing isn't easy. Feel the thrill, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen
get the
by
most eyes on the
skill-based
vehicle.
matchmaking
You need
to
the best
ensure
at the rest
competitive
this
racing
At Lightning
every
Labs,
level.
you get the best at an
Compete
affordable
across
price
all
compared to the
your
rest.
favorite series.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook for
In
more
officially licensed
information.
cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lightning eSports Arca Series. We're racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway, winding down the laps currently. Just under 12 laps to go. The leader, hard contact with that outside wall. He does a good job at saving it in through the infield grass. He's gonna lose a race lead though. He's gonna lose multiple positions. That's Jeffrey Ledford. Right as we were coming back from commercial break. And he's still trying to hang on to this race car. Big issues with trying to get it back going. And that's probably the heat cycle and the tire wear on those tires. Finally able to get it going straight, and he'll settle in 9th position.
Yeah, we were watching that during a commercial break, the battle for the lead, and I think running the high line is really starting to eat up those tires. And like you said, once he spun there, did a half spin, he really lit the rear tires up doing that slide, saving it. So I don't even know if you can rebound from here. There was a lot of damage done to those tires. And the yellow flag's out.
Oh, that's the 21 car stopping. I couldn't quite sure who that is. Robert Kahn, I believe. Yes, it was. So a late caution with under 10 laps to go. This is maybe a chance for some of these drivers who, I'm not quite sure if there is any. I'll have to look here, but if there's a driver who hasn't taken their second set of tires, this is a good opportunity to come down and try and make something out of the race. Now, Robert Kahn being the last defending series champion from last season, definitely not what he was probably hoping for from tonight. However, lucky that he didn't get hit by anybody else, especially with where he stopped on track right there.
Right now we have Mike Wright out, Hayden, Rusty Jordan, and one other, Sean Burke, coming down pit road for tires, so this could be big here.
We'll see what those guys can do as we take a look at the replay. Robert Kahn, looks like he may have just given it a little bit too much throttle and went around. Not quite sure if he was really having any handling issues before that, but definitely off of 4 right there. We'll listen on board here. Yeah, kind of in that no man's land right there. It looked like, I mean, not really anything that is really anything significant. It's just when you're running at a place like this right here, going through 3 and 4, you need to be a little bit lower, and you need to be able to straighten your wheel out coming off the corner. It looks like he may have given it too much throttle and a little bit too much wheel, and unfortunately sent himself around and got hit by the 76 right there before coming back around on track, and a great heads up by the field behind to avoid hitting him anymore. But we talk about it with these late race cautions, and you never really can call this race official and over until the checkered flag flies. So with just under 7 laps to go, 6 when you get the green flag, this is going to be a pretty interesting last couple of laps.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching a Daytona or Talladega race. I can give this win to anybody in this field right now. I think we're about to see some of the craziest racing we've seen all night. There's going to be 3 wide, 4 wide. There's going to be more take than there's going to be give here. And you got to remember, winning you're in, the golden ticket, 7 to go here. We're probably going to be at 6 or 5 to go. So there's not a lot of time. You got to make your moves right away. There's no more being patient.
Yeah, no more being patient. That is definitely what some drivers would probably hope for, is maybe a little bit of patience, but late in this race, you kind of got to go for it. This may be something where we get set up for an overtime. We saw it last week at Talladega, a lot of late cautions into that race, and it was a very unique finish to end that thing. And tonight, I think will probably be a little bit easier going when deciding the race win. Bud Shear right now, again out front, looking good. Worked his way back up. He'll definitely be the one to watch here, and he'll have a hungry few drivers behind him that he'll need to hold off, but he'll be able to control this restart, and that's really the only thing that you can ask for when you're in a race at the end of these things, being able to control pretty much your own destiny majority of the time when you're out front. Now obviously things can happen, and guys behind you can use the bumper, but at a track like this, I don't think we'll see something like that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. They just added another pace lap here, so we're going to be restarting with 4 to go probably here. So that's even less time for these drivers with fresh tires to work with. I'm going to be interested to see what those drivers with new tires and what they can do. We already know this is a multi-group track. They're going to have the bottom, middle, and top to work with, but just they got to be patient but aggressive at the same time, and they have to find that perfect balance to it because obviously these guys on older tires, I mean, we just had our longest green flag run of the race, so these tires are going to be old. They're not going to be at the speed, so. And obviously these drivers don't want to cause a caution or a wreck or anything. That'll get you an EOL, then you'll be out of it. Penalty points that they give out at the end of the race, you don't want those either, so I'm super excited to see how this finish plays out here.
Well, I don't want to say who my pick is. I'm thinking it right now, but considering every time we've opened our mouths about a certain driver tonight, it's ended not the right way for them. So I'm gonna let you guys out there decide on who you want to win. Bryce, I know you probably also have somebody in mind that you think is gonna win. I'm gonna keep mine inside, and we'll see what these drivers can do when we get the green flag here in just a moment. We'll have 4 laps to go at the line. Pace car working its way off of the racetrack once again. Starter's got the green flag in hand. Green flag. We're racing in a little bit of tire there. At about the 3rd to 4th row. That's going to allow some of these guys to have a better restart on that outside lane. The 14 taking it 3 wide on the bottom, and the 91's around, able to hang on to it. A great save right there by the 91. Back up front though. 3 laps to go at the line. Bud Shear leads them off into turn 1 and 2.
Caution's out.
Caution out once again. This time I'm not quite sure who it's for. It looks like the 11 of Robert Morris is slow on the track with some damage. Not quite sure if that was the caution or not. Let's go back and see if it was. Although I'm not really quite positive as to who it actually was. Oh, it looks like it was involving the 11 of Robert Morris. Oh, the 88 just did not get going right there. That's Dylan Lewis right here in the center. I'm not quite sure if he had some sort of mechanical issue or if he just spun the tires that bad. Let's try on board and see if we can hear. We'll have to go back a little bit further. That's interesting. It looks like something definitely happened there, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was, but definitely a mechanical failure. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what exactly. I mean, it doesn't look like he's got that much tire spin. I mean, he went up through at least first and second, and then something happened to where that car either stalled out or just didn't go into gear, and that was a very interesting restart for the 88 right there. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened. I'm gonna assume that he either missed a shift or he had his car maybe possibly didn't register the shift. I don't know. That was interesting. And with that restart, that's going to set us up for another quick little dash to the finish. Now, if you just took tires, probably not exactly what you were really wanting to have happen. Now, it kind of does help you a bit, but you're probably wanting that previous caution to be a little bit shorter and to try and make something happen. And you're still going to have a shot at it. Just, again, you're not going to have as much time to get going on this restart. Bud Shear still out front, looking good for the time being. Dennis Warren's in second. Charles Whitehead in third. So, not really any crazy changes up at the front for the time being.
Yeah, here we go. Entering 3 and 4. The pace car is going to pull up this time by. This is going to be our first official green-white checkered. We get 3 attempts total tonight, so we'll see if we get that white flag. If we get that white flag, then the next flag does end the race.
Well, pace car pulling off into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Bud Shear leads him off. Charles Whitehead not with a great start on the outside lane. That's going to open the door for the 90 of Dennis Warrens to get to the inside and take second place away. Side by side for third place. Now the 97 takes it. Michael Chanel looking to make a late race charge. 3 wide behind him for fourth. Look at Rusty Jordan make that outside lane work, trying to get more positions as they're wrecking behind him. White flag in the air. Oh, Rusty Jordan around. Rusty Jordan around. Now the focus goes to the lead. What will Dennis Warrens have? Bud Shear trying to hold him off. And at the line, they're wrecking again, but Bud is going to be able to hold him off and win at Atlanta.
What a race, man. Good finish. I can't say enough about Bud. Man, what a comeback. We've seen him wrecking earlier in the race, and he just put on a perfect second half of the race and executed what he needed to do there on those last 2 restarts on the oldest tires in the field. So just props to him. Fantastic drive, and he's going to be in the playoffs.
A fantastic drive that was. He's going to go ahead, burn it down here. Avoided the carnage for the most part. And able to defend off the field on that last green-white checkered to take home the win at Atlanta. He's going to go ahead and park it on the start-finish line. We'll see if any of these drivers are interested in taking the time to speak with us. But again, a great comeback win from Bud Shear from the early incident at lap 14 to come back through the field and capitalize with the win. Made it look a little easy. Didn't go without any challenges though, and now he'll be able to grant his spot into the playoff with that win. And we do have Bud here, so let's go ahead and get him in and to speak with us. Bud, congrats on the win. You made that look pretty, I wouldn't say too easy, but you definitely had your challenges through the night. Had to come from the back and slowly worked your way up through the field, and were able to get that race win at the very end and hold off the hard charging field. What really was it like for you tonight, and what are you most excited about now that you have that win in these next couple of weeks?
Oh, yeah, I was pretty agitated for that race. Just saving gas out front early on, leading, and I mean, I got leaned on a couple times and finally just spun me out coming out of 2. I was pretty riled up about that. And then, I don't know, 20 laps later, I was coming through the field and back to the front. I got spun out by a lap car. Just drove right through me on exit of 2. From that point on, it was about to be bumper cars, and I didn't really care who was in front of me. I felt like we had the quickest long-run car out there. So I knew with 25 to go with that caution, I was putting the tires on, and I didn't care if they had new tires at the end or not. We were sending this bitch.
And you talk about really trying to decide when you were going to take the tires and when you weren't. Was that like did you have any doubts that there could have been possibly another caution with like maybe 15-ish laps to go where people might have taken their second set of tires and could have given you a run for your money? Or is this something where you were determined to pretty much go out there with 25 to go, take the set of tires, and go all out and, do what you needed to do?
I knew with 20 laps on the tires, if I ran the outside fence like 4 inches off of it, I could still put down a 30.1, like a high 1. And most of these guys could, without the draft, could only run 30 flat. And so I knew those new tires weren't going to mean anything. I was just overdriving that thing. I was so mad.
Well, you know what? It proved to be a thing. It proved to do you good. And I know from my experience when racing, and Bryce, you can kind of trip in here too. Sometimes when you're mad, that's when the best driver comes out of you, and that's kind of when you're able to put belt to the field and kind of maybe, I wouldn't say do things that you wouldn't be used to doing, but you just have a different mindset and aren't really willing to take or give anything that you probably would have in any other circumstance.
Oh, he's lucky he hit the fence when I ran him down, because at the end there, he was leading before that caution, and I was running him down like a freight train. He was on better tires than I was too. I knew when I got there I was just gonna send him into 3, so I wasn't playing nice anymore. I was done with that, and he was gonna be eating fence. Luckily, he put the pressure on him, and he ate the fence on his own. So I was pretty happy with that.
Well,
I didn't have to do anything stupid.
well, it's probably good for him then.
It's good for everybody. No, I don't want to do that stuff. You try to refrain from it. I was behind him for like 10 laps the course of that race after he wrecked me. I didn't touch him then. So, I mean, if I was stuck behind him with 1 or 2 to go, I was sending him. That was what I told myself. I don't want to race dirty. I don't want to make everybody mad. So you try not to lay the bumper to him. It's not like I was going to completely destroy him. I was just going to send him into 3 passes lift points is all. But no, happy with the result, and come back and keep my temper in line next week.
Well, I'm excited to see what you can do next week. I mean, hopefully you have the same determination to go out and maybe go back to back. Before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank, any shout outs you'd like to give.
Give you guys a big thanks for coming here and doing the broadcast this season, and give Chantel and everybody that runs the league here at Lightning Esport a big thanks. Without them, there's nowhere to come out and race with people you actually enjoy to race with, and everybody that shows up here, even everybody that's new, even the guys I'm mad at. I've raced with them for a few years. I like him. I like them all. They're a pleasure to race with. Just sometimes it's like a little brother or sister. They just get under your skin. But big thanks to everybody and RBS Racing and Sean Burke. Come back next week and see if we can calmly do this again.
All right, I like the sounds of that. Butch here, thank you again for taking a minute to speak with us. Congrats on your race win, and we can't wait to watch you in these next couple of weeks and going into this season.
Thank you kindly. You guys have a good one.
That was our race winner, Butch here. And Bryce, it sounds like he was pretty determined to get that race win right there.
Yeah, he definitely had some extra motivation for sure, but glad that he didn't have to do anything unnecessary, and he let the pressure do the job for himself. So, I mean, one hell of a drive for sure. Being wrecked twice. I didn't even remember the second time, I guess. There was so much action in tonight's race. So to be spun twice and then come back and win, and just a great, fantastic drive. He's definitely going to be a championship favorite, I think. And especially as I learn these drivers throughout the season.
We'll go ahead and take a moment to go to commercial break. We'll be right back here in just a moment, though, and then we will continue with our post-race coverage.
From humble beginnings to raising the future, achieving success along the way, we'll never back down because we are here to race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
To get the most eyes on your vehicle, you need the best that the rest will see. At Lightning Wraps, you get the best at an affordable price compared to the rest. Be sure to check us out on Facebook for more information.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lightning eSports Arca Series live from Atlanta Motor Speedway after a chaotic finish. There at the very end, Bud Shear able to take the race win away and hang on to it after a pretty much an up and down night for him. I mean, we got to talk to him a bit, and it it was pretty fun to be able to talk to him, and hear from him. And I think, like Bryce said, we'll definitely probably see him show up more again this season, and definitely will be one to watch. And again, I unfortunately don't have everything fully completed yet for us to show you guys what the schedule is, but we'll kind of go down it here. Next week, or I think it's next week. Yeah, it is next week. Next week, February 1st, we are heading to another difficult track, Darlington Raceway, for 75 laps. That'll be a pretty interesting race to watch. Again, it's going to be a little bit of an afternoon race, so still a little bit hot and slick probably to start off that race, then maybe roll into a cooler track at the end of it. Then we head to Myrtle Beach Speedway, and then Watkins Glen Speedway, or Watkins Glen International, sorry, and then Knoxville Raceway for a dirt race, which will be pretty entertaining, I think, to watch. I don't think I've actually ever witnessed the ARCA on a dirt track before, so that'll be interesting to see, and we'll have to see who can conquer the dirt. And then we head to New Hampshire Motor Speedway March 1st, and that'll be our last race before the playoffs start. So, could be a rough few races ahead for some of these drivers. We'll go ahead here and look at the results before we get into anything more. Again, Bud Shear with the win. Then we go to Dennis Warrens in second place, Jason Henry, Mike Rideout, Charles Whitehead rounding out the top 5, Michael Ware, Michael Chanel, Robert Kahn, Chris Ellis, Jeffrey Ledford. Those drivers are going to round out the top 10. Going on to the next page of results, we have Rusty Joran, Truth Hoke, Johnny Sanis, Sebastian Chanel, I'm so sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. Chantel Pottle. Actually, I nailed that. Brandon Cookhausen, Robert Morris, Sean Burke, Dylan Lewis, Joseph Heckman. Those are your top 20 drivers. And then going out and rounding out the field, Orrin Russell, Barry Nelson, Kevin Baker, Drew Smith, Hayden Cookhausen, Christian Schreiber, and Blake Davis. So, pretty decent field with 27 drivers tonight. Lots of ups and downs for some of these drivers. Obviously, like we've talked about, Bud Shear with the most positive gain out of this group. And I guess going into your thoughts, Bryce, for next week at a track like Darlington, that's going to be an interesting one to tame and try and get right. I mean, going into turn 1 in that place can be pretty scary at certain times. Turn 3 is also very difficult, and trying to hit those lines, I mean, there's really not a whole lot of room to give at that track.
Yeah, Darlington, just like Atlanta, is a very difficult track. It's going to be high. It's going to be slick. Darlington, in my case, I feel like it really shows who are the championship favorites, the playoff hopefuls, as it takes a lot of driver talent. You can't fake it, as some would say. You have to be really, really good there. So I'm really excited to see how that one goes. I think it's definitely gonna be slicker. I know the ARCA car tonight was a little bit on the tighter side, especially on fresh tires. But I really think the ARCA car at Darlington, it's gonna be loose. So that's gonna be a blast to watch.
And that'll happen here next week, same time, 7:45 Eastern, here from Darlington Raceway. Or sorry, not here. We will be at Darlington Raceway. Currently, we are here at Atlanta Motor Speedway again, just wrapping up coverage. I really don't have anything too much else to add. I don't know if you do, Bryce, but again, congrats to Bud Shear. And unless you have anything, I think we'll send it off and away.
Yeah, no, I got nothing else. Like you said, congrats to Bud Shear. One hell of a drive. That was a blast to watch tonight. I couldn't ask for our best first race to broadcast here.
All right, well, with that, guys, we're going to go ahead. we're going to go ahead and get off the air here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Again, that is at Darlington. That'll be an interesting track, and hopefully see you guys all back here next week. Until then, have a good rest of your night, guys. Good day, wherever it may be, whatever time it may be for y'all.
From humble beginnings to raising the future, achieving success along the way, we'll never back down because we are here to race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
To get the most eyes on your vehicle, you need the best that the rest will see. At Lightning Wraps, you get the best at an affordable price compared to the rest. Be sure to check us out on Facebook for more information.